What's up, gamers? It's me, your boy, Notepad Anon, here drawing the rest of the fucking owl. Hello, everyone. My name is Notepad Anon, and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Today, we are going to be, well, as the title says, drawing the rest of the damn owl. This is going to be unfun. Not gonna lie. It's going to be long. It's going to be, hectic. I don't know how long we'll go. I'm going to go until I feel like a corpse. We got my cup of coffee here, ready to go. So, what needs to be done right now? What's going on? Well, I made a table. And we love tables because tables make my life easy. Also, thank you very much, Century Buster 44, for following. So, what does this mean? Where are we right this second? Well, if I look over here... So, here's all of this. Easy enough to understand. So what we should say, dominions. So, here's all of this information. We know how to play the game. This is important. We do know, in fact, how to play. We know the system. What we need to do is, how do we make cards? Because cards are difficult. Why do I say cards are difficult? Because we need to make a lot of these. I've learned one thing, though. There's one phrase which we need to learn and keep in mind at all times. Which is very simply, if I want X to occur, what do I need to have happen? This little chart I have here, all of this little chart, is a, how do I want to word it? This is a combination of effectively all of the keywords I could come up with. What does this mean, Notepad? It means this is all of the keywords I could think of, I could make. And these keywords will be applied to your monster. Everything is built off of build points. We love build points. Why? Because I thought about calling them creation points, but we can't call anything CP. Because calling things CP, while funny, is a no-no. So, instead we have build points. What do build points do? Build points let you increase your attack power, your defense of your cards, give them special effects. Now, I was having a pretty large debate for myself of how many should I actually, how many build points does it have? I started off with 5 per level. I decided to say fuck it and say 10. That gives us a lot of room to do things with. However, this is, behold, the most basic level, a basic 4-drop card. This is just everything you need to know about this 4-drop card. Nothing more, nothing less. What does this actually mean, though? So, our Death Knight... I didn't mean to hit that button. Our Death Knight. Yep, our cool Death Knight, because we are making a cool Death Knight. Our Death Knight requires 4 soul to be used. When it is on the field, it will have an attack of 5,000 and a defense of 6,000. We know it has hexproof, so no active or reactive abilities can affect it. On the other hand, it also has counter. So that means if it manages to successfully defend itself, it will deal an attack back with the potential of destroying things. So you don't want to attack, so it's kind of signaling don't attack this monster with a weak card because it will probably destroy it. But do you notice it doesn't have any block or anything? This is a problem for it. It needs to have some way to block, or you need to pump it up to make it stronger. Easy. This is a very basic monster card. The problem, what we are facing right now, is costing. Because we need to apply costs to every single card. Because we need to make sure that players have access to all of these. Because what we are making is effectively a power creation system, but masquerading it as a card game. Because I live in a fucking clown society. This is my life. And people are like, why aren't you making cards? Because I literally can't. Because I need to make it so that we can still make the TRPG out of this over here. Yeah, don't forget, this isn't a card game. This isn't the main game. This is the side game we have to make to justify the real game. I want you all to know I am losing my mind. Because this is my life now. This is just how I live. I weep for you, Notepad. Yeah, how do you think I feel? How do you think your boy Notepad's feeling? Like, that's the beautiful thing, is this is such a convoluted series of events that needs to occur that I am effectively having to make a power creation system for this. And that power creation system is based off of cards. That's really all that it is. It is a card game, but it's actually a power creation system. But we need to make the costs for all of those powers, well, function. We need to make them function. So, if we want to do, we're just going to call these monster cards for now. Now, one thing to note is we have pretenders. What is a pretender at the end of the day? All a pretender is your leader. These are your pretender. Now, one thing to note about pretenders is I'm going to put this up here, because we put this nice and easily up here. I'm going to do that. A pretender is effectively worth 120 BP, which is effectively a 12 drop. But you can't get 12 drops normally because monsters only go up to 10. So they are worth 120 BP. Now, we've got these. If I bring out my notebook here. Where'd my notebook go? Give me 1 second as I find my notebook. I'll have you all know. Ooh, button here. I will have all of you know that my notebook was in fact by my desk and not where I thought I put it. Man got tricked into writing 2 games. The worst part is, it wasn't even a trick. I knew this was going to happen. And I'm like, well, writing a card game can't be that difficult, says man, unknowing, uneducated. I don't get how fucking people do this. I don't. I do not get this. This is fucking alien magic to me. But hey, this is why I have to do this. This is why I learn. So, my notebook here. So, I did some math on this. So, very basic. If I were to divide all of these up into our... Actually, I should make this a little bit easier. So, if I were to divide these up into all of the various types, we have a king, prince, duke. These aren't their actual, I shouldn't really rename that to the right thing. Prince, Duke, Count, Baron, a Knight, and finally a Wanderer. Now, these are effectively the ranks of our pretender. And they are all worth 120 BP. Now, what do I mean by they're worth 120 BP? So, the king has 2 things. we know the king has 10 health. Well, technically 10 life cards. He can get hit 10 times before he dies. However, he only has one domain. He only has one color that he's actually a part of, and 20 BP remain. Wow, Notepad, doesn't that mean that a king is going to fucking suck? Because he has no ability. He may be durable, but he has no ability to do things. Yes, but they can take things. But all will be explained soon in that regard. So, the prince. What does the prince have? Prince has 9 life cards. Has 9 life cards, 1 domain, but 30 BP. Alright, easy enough. The Duke. Das Duken. Can you make a guess what the Duke is going to have? You're right. 8, 1, but 40. We have lost two hits effectively over here. We've lost 2 health. In exchange, we've gained bill points. We can make our guy do more things. I'm just going to write all of these. I'm going to put all these up because this is where things start getting a little bit hinky-winky. I can explain the math in a second. So, count. How much to count? Count has 7. Has 7. Baron has 6, 5, and then 4. Why is 4 such an important number? 4 is an important number because it's fucking low. The Count. Well, how much does the Count have? The Count has 1 domain, but he also has 50 BP. My guess is that a majority of people will stick to the Count if they want to be the most basic character possible. Baron. How much does the Baron have? Baron has 50 BP. Oh, wow, that's a lot. They have 2 domains. Yes, they have 2 domains, but they only have 6 HP. That's the big thing of the Baron, is that the Baron has 2 colors they can draw upon. They can say I'm a white purple, or I'm a yellow black. Kind of the basic idea there. Blue red, doesn't matter. The Knight. How much does the Knight have? You're right, the Knight has 3 domains, but only has... That's 50 BP. I changed all the numbers to... I changed all the BP numbers here. 3, and then you have 4 domains. So, what is my math logic here? So, one thing. First things first. Health, when it comes to BP cost of health, BP cost health, I'm going to call it HP, I know is 10 times X. That's all that it is. So, the prince has 9. This is worth 90. That's all I need to know. Then we have our domains. Domains are worth X times 10, X times 10 minus 10. What does that mean? That means the first domain is free. No matter what, if you have only 1 domain, you effectively don't pay for that 120 BP. All of these should, in theory, be the correct amount of BP, if I'm correct. You're effectively trading health out for more card draw over here. If I do my math correctly. Now this is the fun part where Notepad pretends he can do math. So this would be 30. So that'd be 80. That'd be 80 if we know that would have to be 40 points. Yeah, there we go. 80 plus 320. There we go. I changed the numbers here like 4 times, so give me a break. But yeah, roughly speaking, this is the idea. Now, these BP costs are not perfect because it's just based off it's base 10, and that's where things start getting hinky. That's where things start getting complicated. I know no one is going to watch this stream. It's going to be great. No, not a single competent human being will. Because this is going to be me ranting incoherently about math. So this should, in theory, work and give everyone the proper amount. If we bring it over to Cardboard Hustle, if we do the Pretender, card, if I'm doing this correct. Now, mind you, this is a big if I am doing this correct, which is very likely I am not. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to take a snip of this, and we're going to plug all of this in. And then I am going to cry, because I'm going to know that if it's wrong or not. So this is, actually, we just need to make a table. Go here, delete table. We need to make a basic table, which is going to be title, life cards, domains, title, life cards, domain. So this would be King, Prince, Duke, Count, Baron, Knight, Wanderer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 10, 9, 8, 7. 10, 9, 8, 7. 6, 5, 4. This would be 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we do this, and then we do LC total, D total equal C5 times 10. Yep. And this would be equal D5 times 10 minus 10. And then we would be BP total. Okay, then we would do $20, $30, $40, $50, $50, $50. I believe that would be it. So our absolute value, which is going to be equals E5 plus F5 plus G5. 120, 120, 120. So we need to boost you up to 40. Okay. This should be, anyway, the correct math. Everything should remain at 120 here. If I want to be a little bit, if I want to tone things up or down, you could do something like this. Because this remains the exact same then. So, let's say, for example, I want to make my very own character, my very own guy. Effectively, I would choose one of these. Let's say I want to be a duke. I would choose my domain. So let's say I am death, and then I would have 30 BP to spend. I have 30 build points to spend on making my character, which I can give him plus attack. Nope, I can say I want to give him more attack or more defense. Or in effect, or 2. So that would be kind of the idea, is like, as a duke, you have one domain. That means you have one type of card to really work with. Wanderers are a lot more fragile, however, it's a little bit more painful. Now, the big thing with these three is that they can enter what I'm going to call for right now a dormant state. This is just a flat BP bonus. but it's until X soul, it is considered rested. What does that mean? Until you hit a certain amount of soul energy, pretty much a certain amount of turns go by, or you do ways to get more soul energy, they're dormant. They are not active. And because they are not active, they are still susceptible to getting hit, but none of their effects are triggering. Which then leads to imprisoned. Imprisoned is you need to spend XB, spend X soul. Actually, I should say flat BP plus, even more. Actually, it would be flat BP plus plus. Until X amount of soul is spent, they are rested. Effectively, being imprisoned means that you can't do anything with your character. They are rested and vulnerable. You want to potentially rest these three kind of characters. Why would you want to rest them? Because he only has 20 BP. He only has 20 build points. You can have a king out, but he's going to be anemic. Or we wait, we put him in the dormant state, or we put him in the imprisoned state. What I was thinking about having is these two can be imprisoned or dormant. These two can be dormant. These three have to be there. I was thinking about putting in like a wandering tag. And like wandering, like if you're wandering, it's a flat BP minus, which is untargetable for X rounds. Like you are spending a lot of your BP because your character, your pretender is literally not on the field right now. You are fighting without them. They can't get hurt, but you can't lose. So it's a little bit of a protection thing. You got a little bit of a protection racket. However, the enemy team might get this is my background noise for cooking dinner. Effectively, a wanderer has some ways to protect themselves from getting instantly nay-nayed by someone with just a lot. Because 4 HP isn't a lot. That's losing 4 battles with your pretender, and that's pretty painful. That's not difficult. I think that's the big thing. It's not difficult to die in one go because you just got fucked over. Okay. That's what I was kind of thinking. This should be able to give us some more build points to work with per character. And if anything, I would probably readjust these ones. Like Barons and Knights are effectively the same idea, except Barons only have to work with 2, and Knights get to work with 3. But one's a little bit more fragile than the other. I'm still thinking a lot of people will either gravitate toward Dukes or I think a majority of Pretenders will be right around here. Duke, Counter, Baron. I think these are very gimmick-based, and you gotta know what you're doing. I think these are really high cost for not being able to interact with my cool toy as often. And people like interacting with their cool toy. So it's whether or not, do you want 2 domains? Do you want more Play-Doh points, effectively, so you can make whatever you want? Or what? That's kind of the idea. But now we get to do some fun math. Who's ready for math? Woo! I love math, and I want to make sure that you love math too, everybody. Because math makes life easier. It doesn't. I am lying to you. I am telling a gigantic lie. Because I hate you. Why am I telling a lie, you may say? Well, the secret's simple. I hate you. It's a real hee-hee-hoo-hoo moment, as one might say. Okay. So, what I have for right now is that a majority of NAs, you could say, If it's NA, if it's not applicable, it's going to be worth 20. NA equals 20. Why do I say this? In NA equals 20, that means no matter what, it's going to be more expensive for you to actually pick this up. And because it's more expensive, it's something that... Hate you too, Note Daddy. You love it. See, again, it's my we love doing math. It's the best. I love math. So, I crunched some numbers over here, and everything is technically in... Most of the math over here is when we come to attack power, because the one thing I'm worried about, there's two things that I am slightly worried about when it comes to monsters. What is the stop people? So we'll do this. What is stopping people from making 10k plus death stompers? What do I mean by a death stomper? I have 10k attack, and 10k defense. For some, that is not actually that expensive. 10k attack for red is 10 BP. 10k attack for a blue card is 30 points, which is a lot less likely. But if you were playing, a purple or a red or a green deck or something like that, it's not actually too expensive to get that. Like, it's, this is 30 build points for 10k attack, 10k defense. That's not too difficult to get. You can get that for 40 points. You can do a level 3 monster in a green deck and have that. And like, I don't want people to just like, here's a card that just wins me the game because I do 8 gorillion damage with it. Obviously, then you would, hey, we would need effects to bounce cards from our deck, bounce cards easier to disable, disable creatures or something like that. So, one thing that I was thinking about doing is putting hard limits. What do I mean by hard limits? Effectively, if you are making a monster card that is level 4, you can have X attack and X defense, but no higher. You can have 8,000 attack or defense. You can have 8k. However, because you have 8k, you cannot exceed that. You can have 8k attack, 8k defense at level 4, and you can't spend any more points on it. The only thing that I'm like worried about that is like, why don't I make every single monster just an 8k attack or something? Why don't I just make every monster like that? So it's like, okay, how do we encourage people to use these? Because that's the big thing. You don't want to just have people pump attack and defense. That's not as interesting. So I did kind of put this little chart up here. What does this mean? What does all of this mean? Effectively, you have certain decks that are primary monster, secondary monster, tertiary monsters. If it's a primary monster, you get 3 points. If it's secondary, you get 5. If it's tertiary, it's 7. This is just focus, if that makes sense. So, for example, green is primary. Green likes their monsters. They want to bring monsters out onto the field, so it's a lot easier for them to build their attack and defense up. Contrary to blue. Blue has monsters to protect them and very little else. You are relying a lot more on effects with blue. A lot more on, I want to make a card and a action card to bump your deck. I want to make an action card to do something. You are casting a lot more things with blue. Red's easy. Black is secondary. Black wants to bring people out, but they don't need to be good. And that's kind of the thing with black, is that you have a lot of numbers, but they're not, you don't need them to be amazing. Same with white. Yellow is all about being egotistical, so their attack is really difficult. Attack is expensive, but their defense is usually pretty good, because what all yellow wants to do is have a fucking wall in front of them of disposable cannon fodder, while they go in for the actual attacks. They are all about the Pretender. The others are, again, you know, primary, secondary, tertiary, and things like that. If I'm right, and again, if we use this, if I want to make my level 4 Death Knight, 5,000, so if I look up here, attack is that, so this would be 5,000, would be 5, would be 2, would be 10, would be 12. Hello, phone. There we go. Send my mom a text. All right. So if I want to get, if it's 3 per 1,000, so that'd be 6 times 3, that would be 18. 18 plus 10, that would be 18 plus 10, that would be 28. We would need to reduce his defense by a little bit. If we reduce it by half, that would be only worth 9, so that would be 5 plus 9 would be 14. And that would be 9 plus 14, so if we then do bring you up to 5, you would be 17. Bring you up to 6, it would be 20. Yeah, no, maybe. No, that would be 6 times 3, so yeah, that would be 18. 18 plus 5. What am I fucking doing? It's 18 plus 10, which is way too high. So we need to do 10 plus 3,000 times 3. That would be 10 plus 9. So we would need to do that for that. So that would be 3,000. 3,000 would be 6. 6 plus 4. 4 times 3 would be 12. So that would be 18. So we could do something like that. So 5 would be 15 plus 10 would be 15 plus 4 be 19. God, the fucking numbers here. We're working with such small numbers that I'm trying to make sure that it works. And that's where, that's where the arguably the hard part of this comes in, is trying to make the numbers feel good. Because like with a blue deck, if you are playing a blue deck, monster cards are a lot more expensive. Let's say I have a level 4 card, that's 40 points that I have to work with. 40 points. Doesn't seem like a lot, but 40 points is 10,000 attack power and, you know, 5,000 defense power. That's 35. You got 5 points to spend on whatever you want. Contrasting this is if you wanted to say do that with a 40 points with a blue deck. 40 points is barely going to get you 3,000. You know, that's barely going to get you 3,000. That's on purpose because blue doesn't have very good monsters. So what we need to do, I guess we lower the cost here. How do we lower the costs? Well, if we don't want you to use it, that's the secret. If we don't want you to use it, it's going to be 20. That's the thing. If it's, what I mean by 20, if it is 20, that means I am saying you should not be using this card. You can, it's going to cost you a lot, but you shouldn't. Let's reduce it by 2 here. Take up all 3 monster spaces. So this is... Unless it's a... Here, with negative, it's different. Because with negative values, it's 0. It's not worth... you don't get anything for doing it. You can, it's free, but it's just taking up more space. If we keep all the numbers even, that would be nice. Purple's egotistical. Yellow would benefit a lot from it. Okay, so... Okay, so this is counter. 487. If we want to keep... I want to keep all of these even numbers. Let's just do that. I want to make everything a nice even number. And we are going to... cycle. So blue is really cheap to cycle. Let's do 4, 6, 4, 20. Okay, so we got 20, 20, 20. 8 death touch. Destroyed in combat. The attacker is destroyed. That's good. Alright, let's reduce you down. Let's reduce you down. Let's reduce you down and you down by just a little bit. Discover. Play a card with equal or lower soul cost. Reduce you down, reduce you way down. 2020, because you shouldn't be doing that. Purple's all about card efficiency, so that makes sense for them. Double strike. You guys really shouldn't be having double strike. You are going to go down to 10. Green will increase to 16. Flying cannot be blocked. 4, 6, 8, 10. Colossal. Alright, so actually, no, this is giant. So let's say it's -6, -2, -6, 0, -2, 0. And then we do -6. Hexproof. You don't need to worry about that. Hexproof there. Blue. We're going to reduce that down a lot. I'm going to do that, 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 that. Okay. Honorable kill. We love honor kills. We're going to bump you up a little bit. We're going to bump you... I'm going to make that a... Yeah, you're a 20. You're a 20. You're a 20. You're a 20. Honor kill. We like honor killing on you. If we want to make that... It's white, right? Yeah, that's white. Or holy. The holy domain. It's yellow. Immune. Numbers look fine. Indestructible. Now, these are per indestructible token. So we're going to reduce you to 8. We're going to reduce you to... Let's reduce you to 14. Let's reduce you to 12. Way cheap to afford you. We're going down, and we keep you at 12. Indestructible is very expensive. Effectively, anything above 10 you can kind of consider to be a level to pick up. Because again, you get 1 BP, you get 10 BP per soul level. So a 1-drop is a 1-drop can't, like a 1-drop blue can get banish. However, they're not going to have any other stats. They are literally going to be maybe a 0/0, a 0/0 with banish, and you still need to give a condition on them to activate it. They die the second someone looks at them funny. Good cognitive botching. It worked when I walk into a bike. It's a sign of things to come if you're 3 streams in and still in the prelim. Yeah, pay notepad, exactly. Yeah, and again, I am looking at a project of deep numbers, of counting, of making sure these numbers count correctly, because this is our main resolution mechanic, so we gotta make sure that people want to actually use our main resolution mechanic. Reduce you down. Alright. Let's go start looking at you here. Okay, let's see. Same term as summon. We're going to reduce you by half. We're going to bring you down to 8. We're going to bring you down to like 6. We'll cut you. We're literally cutting you in half effectively. We're going to bring you down to 8. Scry. This is per 6 fucking 1, 2. What if we bring you down to 4 and bring you down to 2? Actually, why don't we do 420 here? What if we bring you here, so you're still... Okay, so you're pretty easy to do. It's 500 defense when soul cards are attached. We bring you down, we bring you down, we bring you down, we bring you down. So, a little bit cheaper. Cannot be sacrificed for soul power. White does not benefit from that at all. This is not a problem. This is not a problem for white, and I'm okay with that not being a problem for white. If we change this like this, though. Yeah, we do something like this. Effectively, black does benefit from having, you can't sacrifice these for soul cards, so they get more bang for their buck by doing that. So if I were to go over here and give them the soulless tag at -4, I could then, so this would be 14, 19 equal M16 plus O16. Then I could add, if I were to, for example, for no reason at all, say I want to increase their attack to 4,000. That's 1, 2, 4, 2,000. That'd be plus 4. This would be 23. So then I could do, let's say, 6, and then bring that up to 26, and then have 40 points. But the Death Knight cannot be sacrificed for anything. That's the problem with it. But certain black decks, you don't want to do that. That's not the point. Okay. Alright. Drawing targeted to bring you down. I'm gonna do that. 628, that works. Defeats another monster. Let's bring you down to 6, and let's bring you down to 10. Not activated by effects. Yeah, that works. How many indestructible counters do you have? 6, 8, 8, or... So, black can get a lot of indestructible counters, but black wants to keep their guys alive. Black is fine having a bunch of shitty monsters. Summoners are always going to be more expensive, so if we bump up their default casting to 40. Actually, no. We reduce you to 14, we reduce you to 18, and then we reduce you to 12. So that's black. So actually, if we make you... What if we make you 12, but you 8, you 10? So blue wants to get some of these guys out, because blue likes summoners because it's a control deck. We have mouse placed in graveyard. Taunt must be attacked during the attack phase. Let's reduce you to 4. Let's reduce you to 8, 8, 10, 10. Treasure tokens. Generate a treasure token. We're going to be doing 8, 10 to 20. So we need to do this. Let's bring you down to 10, 10, 8, 6. Because, again, yellow has an ego. Yellow wants to generate as much as possible. Vigilance. Let's reduce it down. 12, 8, actually 6, 8, 12, 10. Actually, 10. Ward, while active, must be placed on ward. All actions must be placed on ward monsters. We're going to bring you down to 8. That means we're going to bring you down to 10. We'll bring you down to 10. Actually, we'll do 12, 10, 8, 10. But that means we should reduce you further to 6. Draw a card from deck. All right, now we're getting into trigger effects. Okay. Green, draw a card from deck. I'm saying that's a 4. That's a 2. This is red, black, white. Red. 4. Black. 2. White. 6. 4. And then you're going to be very expensive when it comes to card draw because you're an asshole. Rest a monster. If we're just resting monsters. Green. I don't think green would have a lot of... Green's all about... No, green wouldn't have that. Green... No. Green would have that, wouldn't it? So it would be maybe something like 8. Blue... Blue would not. I don't think blue would have rest. Red, I think, would have it, but it would be a little bit more... If we bring you down, it'd be a little bit more expensive. Black would... Black would have it, but it would be an 8 cost. White would not have it, because it wants to fight you in honorable combat. Too much of an ego, and since purple is all about control play, well, we put a 12 there. Very expensive for them, but they can't get it. Okay. Alright, so one thing we need to do, actually... Okay, we're going to shift everything over by 1. And we are going to select all our... What we really need to know is if it's a trigger or a target. Pain of joblessness. Wouldn't it be easy to set up an automation or just manually? White. Depends on what you've done. Late now, you set X effects belong to this color A, then multiplier on the color cells for different effects. Color A. I have X blue effects, can make modifiers, and I'll roll blue effects. Something like black is what? Constant multiplier, set, effect, cost, color. It's one of the big things is that certain, if we're going off of MTG color theory, effectively some some have very similar ones, like green and blue. So just knowing that these numbers are going to get shifted around a lot, so I just didn't even bother. So if it's a target, it's a trigger or a target. Now this is where things start getting a little bit wonky. So I'm going to do store column A to Z. Okay. If X, then Y to Z. Fun fact, if you want a 99% of actual TCG logic, it is if X, then Y to Z. If this occurs, then this will occur to X to another creature. If I play this, this will happen. That's one thing. So, does this need an activation trigger? Let's think. Does this need a trigger to go off? Let's just find that. Banish. That would be a trigger target. Trigger target. Colossal. And this would be an NA. Doesn't have anything. A counter if defense is successful. Just has a target. Actually, that would be NA because there's implicit targeting. Cycle. This would be a trigger. Does not need a target, however. Death touch. Monsters is no implicit trigger. Discover. This would be a trigger. Double strike. Implicit targeting. Draw. Trigger. Exhaust. Trigger. Flying. NA. Explicit, and a explicit hexproof. I guess that would be target. Actually, I guess that would be a trigger target scenario because trigger target would mean it needs a trigger and a target. Honorable kill, NA, because it has an implicit. Immune, NA, implicit target. Indestructible, NA, actually. I guess we would need to select a target for it because you could in theory give, unless we do how would you do it like a statement? Because how would you word via just keywords, mind you? This is the important thing. Just keywords. Yeah, spend X to Y, Z. Exactly. That's why we have That's why we technically have some triggers up here, which we could probably read. Probably. Yeah, here we go. This is like an activation trigger. So it's like, hey, if you want to trigger this, let's say I have a trigger effect here for the cycle. It could be, hey, I require X soul. Okay, cool. Overload. Does this creature have X amount of, soul available? No. This is a battle cry activation. What does that mean? As soon as it comes out, as soon as you place that card down, as soon as I place the card down, I draw a card. Doesn't matter what it is. I draw a card. Hey, it's a death rattle draw. That means when this card dies, I draw another card. Exhaust. That requires a trigger. Actually, that would be a trigger target. Flying, NA, implicit targeting. Lamb, NA, implicit targeting. Lifesteal, NA, explicit targeting. Prowess, NA, explicit targeting. Block monsters with flying, NA, explicit targeting. Reactive summon, NA, explicit targeting. Rebirth, start of draw phase. Technically, we could add this as a trigger, wouldn't need a target. Rush, NA, implicit targeting. Scry, any number of cards at the bottom of the deck. That would need a trigger attached to it. Century, explicit targeting. Soulless, explicit targeting. Summoner, we don't need that. Surveil. We would need a trigger on that. We don't need that. We would need a trigger on that. And okay. So for a trigger, for example, cycle right here. May discard a card to draw a card during the draw phase. Hey, as long as this is like, even if we do like it needs some way to be triggered. And because it's triggered, hey, the most basic one would probably be like a support, because the entire idea is, hey, support, support draw. What does support draw means? I have my monster out during the active phase. I rest it. I do a thing. I rest my card to rest your monster. That's what my monster does. That would be an exhaust with the trigger of support on target. That would be what it is. Rebirth. What happens with rebirth? On a death rattle, I rebirth. Anytime this creature dies, I say, okay, I look at my deck, my graveyard, and I take out a monster and I put it in my hand. Rebirth is really good. You can also get a bunch of shitty. Actually, it would be, no, it'd be search graveyard and return one monster to hand. That works. Because the entire idea would be, okay, rebirth, like, draw rebirth, a battle cry rebirth. I put the monster down. I look in my graveyard. I say, well, I want this monster back in my hand. I draw that monster out. If you do a death rattle rebirth, it would be, I am going to, oh, this creature dies. I look through my graveyard with this creature now in it and return it to my hand. Hey, this is a overload. After this, I can do that. This is support. I can do that. Okay, that works. Where is it? Treasure. Surveil treasure. Where is it? Fuck, where is it? Draw. This requires a trigger exhaust. So you need a... Technically, you can do it on yourself. You can exhaust, like, technically I don't think that would work. No, so you can't exhaust yourself to exhaust that with a support, because that the activation trigger is you becoming rested. So the target effect wouldn't work because you're trying to rest yourself even though you're rested. So it would be, if I want to exhaust my monster, let's say I have a 0/0 shit box, and its entire goal is anytime I exhaust this creature, I can exhaust one of yours. It would be, I put it down, I exhaust, the activation trigger is support, target of effect is you. So I go, thing. Actually, we can do... There we go. Landing when an enemy is summoned to the field, Yojimbo. What is Notepad doing? We're writing a... Let me reiterate something, because I have to do this every time someone asks. We're making Hell. That's what we're doing. We are making a TRPG based on a fake anime, based on a card game, which means we need to build a card game for a TRPG based on a fake anime where they play that card game wrong. We're making a Yu-Gi-Oh RPG, but we can't use Yu-Gi-Oh, so we have to make our own card game. So we're making a card game now. Dueling. Actually, we got some good ones here. So these would be, let's do, so, oh god, let me open this up. So, let's see, landing is Battle Cry. Let's see, we can add in, I do like Slaughter, that's a good one. Okay, so successful in combat, Yojimbo, let's see, activate effect when... Probably need a better name for it, but Yojimbo does work. I like that one a lot. Okay. Let's see, I mean... Yeah, these are good. We can do some more stuff with pretenders, like, would Battlecry fly if a monster activating is already on the field and the other monster is summoned? I'm thinking like a trap hole here. I guess, how would you word it? I guess it would be, I guess if we add landing is activate effects when opposing monster is summoned, and then we would do, if we want to be specific about that, there's some more triggers we could put in, which would be like Armory, which is activate effect when item is played. There would be magic bullshit alarm, which would magic bullshit alarm, which would be activate effect when actually, I guess this would be action or opposing action or reaction. So the idea of the mana battery. Let's say with the mana battery, I place down I play lightning bolt or the equivalent of it. Because I'm playing lightning bolt, I get to surveil. That's the first thing I do. Hey, anytime I use an item, I get a treasure token. So I want to use a lot of items to get a lot of treasure, because that's... Don't know what I would end up calling... Names. Give me names, people. Magic bullshit alarm doesn't really, It's a problem-solving card text. Activated when activated when attacking enemy pretender. I don't know what, again, I don't know what to call it. Activate effect when... There we go. Because again, this is what this game needs, is a lot of triggers and a lot of target of effects. Because I think this should work. So if we look at like a trigger target here for like hexproof, would that be a trigger target? No, that would be implicit. Like exhaust, for example. Hey, anytime my pretender takes damage, I exhaust one of your monsters. Pretty useful. However, I'm still taking damage. It's still bad. I don't want to take damage because I'm now getting shit. Counterspell. That's a good one, actually. I like that. Kingslayer. Actually, we can call it Regicide if you make it even there. Counterspell actually works pretty well. Target of, you see you missing the deck itself. Target of effects. Yeah, it's like a target of effect would be like if I look through like this, like banish. It's like, hey, I'm removing a card from the monster board and you place it back in your hand. I'm effectively bouncing a card there. The target would be, hey, I'm going to target, an ally. I'm going to target an ally. So anytime when this monster comes out, I can immediately target that and banish a card back to my hand, or banish I can change it up to make it an enemy, where I banish your card back to hand, or something like that. That's kind of the idea. Like deck manipulation, no fucking clue how to do that yet. Like I don't even know how to word that. Are you making a full ass TCG for this? Yes. We have to. Because that is how combat's going to play out in the TRPG. The fucking combat plays out with the fucking card game. So we need to make a TCG to make the TRPG. We're just writing combat for this, mind you. I want everyone to remember that. This is just combat, people. Combat. This is nothing else. That's all we're doing. I thought I was going to too. I thought too. You think so? You would think that, wouldn't you, Draco? I did check Dvorak. I did check that out, and I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track at least. That's the thing. For those who don't know what Dvorak is. For the curious, because for people who may not know, Dvorak is a blank card game. You can technically write anything you want on it, and the only big basic rules is you gotta draw cards, you gotta write in what those cards do, and it's usually things like this. Increase hand size by 2. Zombie attack, when, destroy a thing. That's kind of the idea. Nothing too exciting. You kind of see over here, there's some more special ones. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's this. Oh, Rogue of Time. It does this. It's little things like that. I'm like, okay, again, I don't think you guys quite understand. I am happy that I'm on the right track, at least. That I'm not going insane. Now, let me see. Because if I do sort column A to Z, we do have... Technically that would be... We don't really have that many trigger targets, but generally speaking, we don't need that. I guess, actually... I guess if we want to be really specific and add in a new effect, it would be, it would be a trigger target. No, blue needs something like that for removal. You would... The big thing with yellow is ego. Yellow literally... The entire idea behind yellow is that yellow wants to use their pretender and they don't really give a shit. From the in-lore perspective, a yellow pretender is a psychopath. They are a literal fucking nightmare creature that nobody likes because they are dangerous and they will kill you. On the other hand, kind of the idea is that yellow is very, Yellow's going to make your life easy, because yellow is all about focusing on just your pretender and nobody else. Okay. What other effects are there? Tell me, TCG nerds. What effects are we missing? Even just basic little effects. My mornings were not heated. There are technically, as of right now, 2 tokens, 2 counters. There is the... If I want to be specific, I could probably add in a completely different column, because I am a masochist and we love columns here. It's not... Sorry, queens. Nothing but columns. Put that over here. So, custom card OP primer. We don't need that. If we want to be specific, if I transfer you over here, and it would be counter, no. Ironically, counter does not count as a counter. No. No, yes, no. Oh, I guess technically, I guess that would be, it would count as a counter. Let's see. No. Yes. No. So that's kind of the idea to, that's kind of the idea of counters. Technically, it would be yes, and then it would be, where is century? There we go. So, these are the two things that give counters. Indestructible is, you can lose a number of fights, but since you're indestructible, you don't actually lose the card until all your counters are destroyed. Indestructible 2 means you can effectively lose 3 fights. Indestructible 5 means you can lose 6 fights with that monster before it's really destroyed. This is useful if you want to do something with, say, counter spamming. Give him Indestructible 2, the monster is not destroyed, so it counters attack. So it could destroy a monster attacking it even if it lost the battle because it didn't get destroyed. Treasure tokens are effectively, you trigger a treasure token, you get treasure, you can spend that instead of your soul. Actually, I guess we can add in... So yeah, there we go. Burn soul is the... Have other monsters do shit based on tokens. Yeah, that's why, but there's like right now I only technically have 2 tokens. One is a treasure token, one is an indestructible token. And getting like really specific, technically I could put things like, oh, activate when this occurs. But I'm like, neither of them are like that big. I'm like, I don't want to be like, oh, when it has an indestructible token, get rid of it. So I'm like, what if someone doesn't have an indestructible token? Then you have a card that doesn't do anything. So there needs to be something there. That's why I'm like, okay, what can I do here? We'll open a shit at token type. So let's think about things while we're here. While we are here, everybody, what tokens are we thinking about? I want to make a deck about counters. I want to do that. I want to add little counters to my card. I want to say, ooh boy, I've got this. Technically, we could do we can make a gamble deck. We can make that we can make that, actually, we can do that. Gamble, which is a gamble, which is and let's make it really, it'd start at 9, but it's just really dirt cheap. Mobster deck. Yeah, gambling would be like extortion tokens let you kill hit pretenders, spend tokens do kill monsters, hit pretenders. So like, okay, maybe like let's do like an extortion token. So do you roll dice at all in this? Currently that's why I'm adding the gamble rule, so you can gamble. We could add more dice mechanics. I want to stick with a D10 though. I want to keep things it's D10 or D6. I don't really want to shift from those two. I love gambling, woo! So like an extortion token, which would be okay, maybe something like that. Will you duong this into Japanese? I am not that good. Let's go, come on. More counters. from your current stuff. We need more. Okay, so we got the extortion counter. So the extortion counter is effectively a reverse soul. It is, instead of saying here's an 1,000, here is, you know, here's a -1,000, -1,000. Maybe we add in a buff counter. I should say target. Okay, we already got treasure tokens. We've got... What other counters? That would be a good one. Yeah, we can do payday, remove. I would say this would be a nightmare synergy deck. You would effectively need, you would need a card to grant as many extortion counters as possible, as soon as possible, and then payday it. And then payday it. That would be the difficult part. Because I don't know how long those counters should last. I mean, actually... So extortion counters, okay, there we go. You can have a number of those up. Again, there's probably I do plan on making a generic card called Bomb, which is literally like a really high-cost, annoying blow-up a monster you don't want to deal with. Let's do... Do you have Counterspell? Technically, Counterspell is an effect right here is when it's played. That does remind me, we need to put in... Actually, we'll do... No, we grab all of you. We put you down here. We do... It would be, Activate effect. There, activate effect when allied monster is destroyed. Kind of the opposite of slaughter. So slaughter is when an enemy monster effectively dies. Here it would be when an allied monster is destroyed. I've lost one of my allies, I get to do something. Okay. Then we can do like a bomb. Something like that. Effectively, cowardice is difficult to work around because you only have 3 monster slots. That's like one of the big things. You only have vengeance is a good one, yeah. Yeah, because since you only have 3 monster slots. Okay, alright. Yada yada. Okay, so let me think. So I've got all my keywords here. Not really keywords, but just things that can occur. What else are we missing? What other effects possibly could we be missing? Let's look at the One Piece card game. Yay, I love One Piece. I want to do an event. Yeah, give me all event cards from the Booster Royal Blood effect. Alright, what do we have? I guess we would need to have, yeah, Lifeblood is a good one. God, how would you word like play a monster? It would be it wouldn't be summon because we already have summon. It would be actually, we could do we do tribute, and then it would be tribute, which is actually no, we down here activate effect. You go down here to an activate effect. So this would be tribute. Technically, you can do tribute summoning. What would be a good way of Nibiru. Invoke a monster. Beckon, maybe. Beckon's a good one. So beckon would be if I summon a monster. If my idea is I summon a monster, playing it from my hand into there, how would you word the idea of being played? Like play a monster from your hand regardless of the cost, kind of thing. So if I play a monster with Battlecry Beckon, with Battlecry Beckon, I would select a monster from my hand to put down as well. So trigger Beckon. So it would be Lifeblood Beckon would be the idea that I draw it from my life cards and then I can immediately beckon. So it's effectively immediate, like, auto summon. Or actually, no, we can do, how do I want to word this? Okay, so we're gonna look at this because this is what the trigger is. So let's say I got my hand. Okay, I got my hand of cards right here in front of me. I want to, oh no, I take damage. Let's say I got my life cards over there. I take damage. I draw my life card. It's got a thing on it. What would that be? And it's got a thing saying, if I am drawn from Lifeblood, what do I do? If I am drawn from your life as a life card, I want to do something. What would you do for that? And if that card is play a card. So this would be, actually, no, it'd be a keyword. It would be... no, it wouldn't be Beckon. We already have that. That's called Discover, which Discover we can probably rename to Beckon. Make it a little bit more thematic. That would be, we would need to put down, it would be... The idea of Lifeblood is activate effect. No. This would be activate. What would? How do I want to word this? This would be. Okay, so if we do something like that, like Protector, it wouldn't be a trigger. It wouldn't be like a target or anything. It doesn't generate a counter. So let's do something like... black. Black doesn't have that. White would have that because white's holy. You don't have that. You have a more expensive variant of it. Because yellow has an ego, and yellow would want minions to throw their life away. I need a better name for it, but I'm kind of improvising here, people. Okay. Place an opponent monster face up in spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. Real. Also, would you consider a monster that is tapped as not active in regards to cowardice? No, because it has to be in the active state, but it can't do anything in the active state. That's kind of the one of the hard parts with cowardice is it cannot attack or defend. So you effectively need to rely on it being able to be targeted by things, but not do anything. Where a player facing against an enemy like that, who knows you have a cowardice card on there, may want to attack literally anything else other than the cowardice card. Because, hey, the cowardice card's going to do its effect, however. You know, hey, because cowardice is in play, do you want to attack cowardice or do you want to go for their face? Because you can just go for their face, and what are they going to do about it? On the other hand, if you want to be a dick, target it with abilities and target it with action cards or force them to do something. I have to use my cowardice card to defend myself or I'm going to get fucking killed. I have to use this. It's a I wouldn't say high skill ceiling card, but it is a type of activation trigger that will either be really good or really bad. And I would not recommend putting any cowardice activation triggers on a giant or a colossus, because giants and colossus take up your entire board. So they're going to get targeted, or you will. I don't know what to call that, but protector is not it. And a protector is not the right word for it, but I know what I want it to do. I guess we could do actually, I guess we could do they do not get this. They get it pretty expensive. Red does not get this. Black gets it pretty cheap. Actually, you get it pretty cheap. White does not get it. You get it dirt cheap. You get it a little bit more expensive because, again, you have an ego, and that's the entire point. Because if we do that, the entire idea of Invigorate is your soul card is activated from the rested state, and I guess we could do we want to do this. Actually, Green would still not have it. Green is all about monsters, not really about deck manipulation. Purple is all about deck manipulation, even their enemies. Yellow, it has a fucking ego, so of course they will. White would not want to actually... White would not engage with that mechanic. Red might engage with it. Blue would engage with it. Red would engage with it, but a little bit on the expensive side. And black would engage with it. Okay. If we look at all of this, what other triggers are we seeing here? I guess actually we can add in... If we do the scavenge card, that would be not cycle, honorable kill, prowess, reach, summon, rush. Fuck, where is it? Grave, steal, or grave. Lying, exhaust, beckon, double strike, death touch, cycle. Fuck is great. Okay. We know that's a trigger. There are no counters involved. Green. Probably not, because they're not that. Blue. You need it more than you think you do, because blue is really dependent on items sometimes. Red. Kind of dependent on items. Black. Not really dependent on items at all. Actually, they are not really dependent on items, but they are also really good at deck manipulation. You are going to get it at 12, though, so because you're kind of the purple would not get that at very well. Yellow would. Yellow is all about ego, so they would get it. They would get it cheap too. And I guess we could add in the ability side. It would be return one action or reaction to hand. This would be a trigger, no counters all involved, not really reliant on that manipulation. Blue, it's very cheap for blue because they want to get their fucking cards back. Red, they don't get it back at all because they're not that kind of thing. 8 gets it, so 8 gets it, 8 gets it. Purple needs to do some deck manipulation, so that's the resource manipulation, and yellow, of course, has a giant fucking ego, so of course you would want to get his shit back. Yellow is legitimately built around being the biggest asshole in the room. That's all yellow is. Okay. And technically, if I want to be specific, if I do end up adding trap cards, that would be in there as well. Who's pinging me? Who's pinging me? Hello? Hello, Ira. Hello. Hello. Oh no, she's insulting longsword players. As God intended, as one might know. Fucking longsword players. Play a great sword like a real human being. I will bonk. Kind of the idea of like a trap card is like if we assume this is our board and we can put down 3 monsters, this is our entire monster board. We cannot have any more or any less. An active card, like an action card, is you are playing that on your turn to do something. A reaction card is being played on the enemy's turn to do something. A trap card is like, I'm putting this deliberately on my board for you to discover what it is. You don't know what that card is. I guess we can, no. You always know what monsters are on play, but you don't know what the trap card would be. That's like, again, that's why it's in blue, because I'm like kind of 50-50 on it. Cheap viewers, inhumanity, no. Nope, go away. Hammer, greatsword, everything else is cringe. I'm my hunting horn. Hunting horn players. Hunting horn, I think what the thing with hunting horn is like you really need to, you either need to be fucking amazing or you need to have a team with you. And I'm a great sword man. I like my big 3-hit combos because I like to unga and I will bunga and you cannot stop me. Yes, you may be wondering, Notepad, why do you have exactly 2.5 IQ? When it comes to like, I'm a great sword player, I lost to the rest into my giant muscles. Though I did go sword and shield anytime I was running with my friends who were much lower level than me. So yeah, so I've got a couple low tiers, it's low tier and high tier stuff I use for that. I'm not pretty much alone. Man, I don't even know who the fuck JD Vance is anymore. I keep seeing stupid edits of JD fucking Vance. It's driving me insane. Let's see. Okay. Alright, so if we assume that these are all of the possible cards, we now just need to assign cost to these ones down here. Yippee! So I need to select everything here. Can I convert to a table? I can convert it to a table. Cool. Can I convert you to a table? Convert to table. Yay! Convert to table. Yay! I love the convert to table button. It's very convenient. So let's sort column A to Z. So, sort this effect, this effect trigger, activate effect when item is in play. So if we want to keep the same, let's do that. And anytime I see a 20, it's going to be red. So actually what I can do is so pretty easy stuff. All these are the same. So activate effect when a item is played. If I want people to, the big item players, green is not an item player. Blue is an item player, so we're going to make that. Actually, if we make it if we make these odd numbers, yeah, we can make these odd numbers. Because that would immediately convert all of these into... Yeah, okay, remove X soul from soul area. So all of these will remain the same. So the idea of these four, so if we increase these up to 14. So soul powered is, this is let's require X soul to be, okay. Cool. That's the idea. So we've got these two effects. Easy enough to understand. Activate effect when item. Actually, no. Activate effect when item is. Actually, no, we'll use the term quit. Put to monster battlecry. When monster is summoned, remove soul from area. So this would be actually no, this would be this is effectively, I want to remove land, if you want to put it in MTG terms. Let's see, opposing action, reaction card is played, so this would be... Green gets no benefit out of it. They get -3. They don't get anything. They get -3. They get -1. They don't get a huge benefit out of it. Purple gets a -1. The yellow gets a -1. Cowardice. Actually, effect when monster does not attack or defend. That would be a... No. Speed eating, it's in wide range. See, playing with lower level, friends, and it's really funny because everything dies very quickly. Even if, because, yeah, I know how to fight a fucking, one of these things. It's always funny hearing their reaction, like, what the fuck is that? I mean, it's a devil show. So, you can fight the devil show, nothing wrong with them. It's like, what do you mean? I'm going to die. I mean, you got it, kiddo. I believe in you. Okay, so green. Cowardice does not attack or defend. I guess that would be a negative because it would be a lot more difficult to... It's a lot more difficult to pull off. And that's fine. Gamble. Activate effect when beating X. So we start at 10, so effectively you have a 10% chance of doing it. And then it decreases by 1 each time. So it would start at -10. So if -10 is a 10 up, so this would be a 9 up, 8 up. So this would be -9, -8, -7. It just becomes less and less of a big issue. Like, that's not even, like, actually, even if we do it something like... +1, and then it would be... Anyone I don't want to do it, I increase the value by +3. So we want these two to be... You gamble, you can gamble, you're fine with gambling. So... I'm doing this right, and I don't know if I am, but if I'm doing this right. So... This is the, plus... That's +1. Actually, I should say cost with +1, cost with +2, and then this would be cost with +3, cost +3, with +3. So, with +2, so this, everything starts at -9. We know that. We know everything starts at -9. So, but, +2, this would be -7, -5, -3, -1, and then this would be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. It is quite literally not worth it at that point. You know, so point of no return is pretty much 6 up, so less than 50%. Then with a +3, cost with a +3, cost changes again. So this would be -6, -3, 0, 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 6, 18. So the entire idea is playing as a black or red deck. You do not want to do this because after 8 it stops actually giving you points. You lose all your points. So it's like, yeah, you're losing points if you choose to bump it up higher. Someone with a +1, i.e. like fucking, you know, someone like Blue or something. Blue wants to, you know, Blues can gamble because they feel comfortable gambling because they can go to a 1-up. It's just going to be like, yeah, congratulations, you're spending 0 to do the exact same shit you were before. Like, it's not that intense. Like, you're just being stupid. You're being a little silly now. Inspired when Pretender takes an action. Who doesn't get this? I think Blue. I think Black. And Purple. I think Green gets it at 7. Red gets it at like 3. Yellow gets it at like fucking 3 because they're all like about that, and White gets it at 5. Landing. Effect when an opponent monster is summoned. I think Red has to worry about that. I think White has to worry about that, and Yellow, because Yellow doesn't give a shit. Green. Green's a little expensive. Blue is a little... Mana Battery. Activate when an action or reaction is played. Green doesn't care. Red doesn't care. Black cares. White cares. Purple doesn't care. Yellow wouldn't care. Blue, 5, because they want to be using... Actually, no, they're going to do 3, and then you get 5. And then White would be 7. Regicide. When opposing Pretender takes damage. Green doesn't give a shit about that. Blue doesn't give a shit about that. Red cares a lot because they want to kill things. They're all about aggro momentum. You would care about it because you would get 5. White does not care. Purple wants to keep the aggro, and yellow would. Actually, we'll do purple keeps the aggro. Slaughter. When this opponent is damaged. You are going to have this at fucking... we'll keep you at 7. Blue doesn't get it. Red keeps it at 3. Black keeps it at 5. White doesn't concern white. Purple would get it at 5 and yellow at 7. Tribute. When allied monster is sacrificed. You get it pretty cheap. You get it a little bit more expensive, but it's not entirely impossible. Red does not get that. We'll do... wants to maintain tempo and does not care about their own people. Vengeance. When allied monster is destroyed. Yes, 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 you want that. Blue is expensive for you. Red is not as expensive. Black doesn't care about its own people. So we make that. Purple wants to keep tempo. Yellow is really impersonal to its own soldier. When Pretender takes damage, you get it dirt cheap. Purple is going to lose out on it. White's going to get it up there. Black doesn't care. Red's going to get a little bit more expensive. Blue's going to get it more as a trigger option. Because Yojimbo on a blue is, I am activating an effect because I'm getting my shit rocked. I need to save myself. That would be the plan there. Okay. And then we would do... So. Sword columns A to Z. Okay, on and out. Affects a chosen ally. The Bratty Toaster Diaz. Truly a Bratty Toaster Diaz moment. We love it when the Das Bratty Toaster dies. Let's see. So, we want to keep these pretty low, all things considering. So, effect is on a chosen ally. I guess we can do 0 across the board here. 0 across the board here. And then on a Pretender, it's... except for yellow, which is 0. On Stronger, 1, 2, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. On Target, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. On Weaker, so if on Weaker is 1, 2, 0, 0, 2, 1, 0. Tribal affects certain tribes, so we're actually going to increase this up to make this expensive for everyone. That's kind of the joke with tribal, is that like, yeah, okay, so also, okay, so give ally target effect. So, no, we don't need that. Table row, delete table row. Okay, so... Mm. At the end of this turn, destroy this monster. And this is not a trigger, so bleed. So this would be black. Okay. 0, 0, 0. I should go down here. 0, 0, 0, 0. Technically, I should label all of these as 0 because they are 0. Let's see. What am I doing? We don't need to label these as 0. We need to label you as 0, though. Give an enemy a... Okay. So, I want to give an enemy... the... Let's say, I want to give them the Soulless trait. And I'm playing a black deck. If I play a black deck and I want to give them Soulless, it would cost me 4 to say, give target enemy that. Not a very big one. Where did you get the numbers for these, if you don't mind me asking? My mind. I just came up with all this shit. Trying to get the numbers to work properly. Unless I just get rid of that. Ever thought about that? I guess if we do like add +3, if we add +2, add +5, add +2, add +3, purple, I think that would be add 3, and then this yellow would be add 5. I don't know how to... I'm telling you all the truth here, I don't know how to do the idea of, like, giving an enemy a bad keyword. I don't know how that would work. No, we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to say that. So... Alright, everybody. We are going to now make another card. Alright, everyone? We're going to make a fun, brand new card. And this fun and brand new card is going to be completely interesting. So... what kind of card should we make? What color shall we make, everybody? What kind of monster do you want to see? Green fly monster. Make manrabo. What's a manrabo? We're gonna put in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's probably a fucking card. I don't fucking know. I don't know what a manrabo is. Green fly monster. Flying monster green. Okay, easy enough. Manly Karibo. Oh. Alright. We're gonna make a flying monster. So we know it's going to be green or verdant. Actually, it's verdant. That's from the verdant domain. And we know it is we'll call it Big Bird. Big Bird. And we're going to make it level 3. We're going to make it level 3. So, how many points do we have to work with? We have 30 points. So, green, we're going to look over here. So, we've got, if our ATK and our in our defense, so we're going to look at our ATK and our defense. So, if our attack power is, let's say, 30 points, let's say we're 4,000. And our defense is only actually, let's do like 6,000 and 1,000. So, attack 6 times 2 is 12. And so we have 13 here. Okay, 13 points. So, first things first, we want flying. So, how much is flying worth? Let's go over here. Flying, monster cannot be blocked. It is worth 4 for green. 4. And we're going to do equal. Why is your value fucked up? Okay, cool. You're going to nope. Q17. Why is there an error there? Formula parse error. What do you fucking... What do you fucking mean? Goddamn. Fuck it. Fuck it. Sum. Okay, why does this work? No, I want it up there. Why is the reference number now broke? No, why are you consulting a reference number? Stop consulting a reference number. I want you to consult reference 15. There. No, don't autofill any of that. What are you checking? Good. Jesus. Was it that difficult? No, it wasn't. You made it difficult. So, it's flying. Okay, currently we are at 17. We are a little over half. Let's see what other... let's give it honorable kill. Kill 12. Cool. And it's got 1 point left. Do we have anything worth 1 point? No, but we can increase its defense up to 2,000 so that we can do this. There we go. Congratulations, everybody. Here is Big Bird. This is our Big Bird card. See? Easy as that. 6,000 attack, but only 2,000 defense. This is a problem if it ever gets rid of its flying. If we want and to make it a little bit more survivable, in theory, we could, if we want to make it a little bit more survivable, we can do that, and it would still be the same cost, because it would be 8 plus 4. Actually, wait a second, it'd be 12, so that would be... Technically, we could do... Yes, there we go. There we go. We can make it a little bit more survivable. Easy enough to understand. Okay, so we are going to make another monster. What monster should we make, everybody? If I want to do 014, what monster should we make? Let's Manly Karibo. Okay, we want to make a Manly Karibo. Let's see, what level would Manly Karibo be? He is level 4. And Manly Karibo, what color would he be? He would be, let's say, we'll call him yellow, so he would be of the ego domain. Okay, so Manly Karibo is obviously part of my super ego. So let's say he's got only 2,000 attack. He's got 2,000 attack, which, what does that mean? It means he's worth 10 points already. Ouch. And let's say he only has 1,000 defense. And now with 1,000 defense, that's 2. So currently he is at 12, or 12 out of 40 points. So let's go over here. What do we want Manly Karibo to do? Well, I think having Manly Karibo, let's do, okay, let's say he's got a destroy. So we know we can destroy a monster. So we want to destroy. We go down here with the activation trigger of Inspired. And let's see, on there we go, on weaker. Inspired destroy on weaker. So anything below level 4, he will, anytime I perform an action as I am the pretender, he would end up he does that. So destroy is 8. Let's see, Inspired is 3, so we are currently at 11. And then on weaker is 0, so it would only be worth 11 BP. So we type that in there. 23, okay. Let's see, we want to do, let's do a actually, no, not a rebirth. Let's do, no, we can give him taunt. So we got 7 more points to spend here. And so we'll do we'll play Surveil. Actually, no. Actually, what if we do a reactive summon at 12? Let's see, do we got anything cheap? Got anything nice and cheap to work with? Let's see. I want something. Yeah, let's do draw. I want to have a draw card, but draw's worth 8, so we need to do something worth -3. Soul powered. Soul power. There we go. Easy enough to understand. There we are. There's Manly Karibo. Not really that good, to be honest. Manly Mon. So, effectively, Manly, it takes 4 of my soul cards to come out. I've brought out Manly Karibo. He has shown up. Cool. Anytime that I, the pretender, take an action, he just destroys anything weaker than him. Anything below level 4 dies immediately. He just says, nope, you die. And he is a reactive summon. That means I can summon him on the enemy turn. And if I tap one of my soul cards, I can draw 1 card because of him. He's not very strong, nor can he actually take a hit at all. But that's not his point. His point is you're helping me, because that's the entire idea of ego, is all you're doing is supporting me. I don't care about you in any other way, because that's what yellow is. If he was verdant, that would be different. If he was fire, that would be different. That's kind of the idea. All of these would change based on what it is. Like a Death Rattle Weaken would be, Death Rattle Weaken would be another good option. You're seeing how this is supposed to work now. And I'm glad that people are thinking like that. I don't think people quite understand how happy I am that this works, by the way. I don't think anyone quite understands that. I am extremely happy that people are like, oh, I wonder what kind of monster I can make. I want to make this. I want to make that. I am so fucking happy. I am absolutely glad that the numbers sort of work. Now, one thing that I am ever so slightly concerned on is having some leftover numbers. Like, what if I had a 39 here instead? I don't really know what to do. Like, part of me wants to make a joke being like, if you have leftover numbers, you can just say they're more rare. Be like, yeah, here's objectively a worse card, but since you have 5 points left over, it's a polychrome or whatever, and it does something silly or something, I don't know. Wow, this works really well. Yeah, it's generally speaking, again, I don't think I can do everything perfectly, but I think this should at least have relative consistency. Is there probably some broke-ass effect? Yeah, I can probably guarantee it. There's at least a broken effect. And I think when we, like, if we want to make something, like, let's say we want to make, let's say we want to make a 7-drop, and we make, I want to make a 7-drop. How about that? I want to make, I want to make a Zombie Harbinger. What is that? Well, that's obviously in the death category. We know we have 70 points to spend, and we are going to do this. So, we've got our black. We are 2-3. So, let's say I want to have 6,000 attack and 10,000 defense. 10,000 defense on black is worth 30. We know that. 6,000 attack is worth 12. So we've got 42 already here. And let's say we want to give it some effects. So, first things first. This thing's big. I want to make this a giant card. Cool, takes up 2 monster spaces. That's not very useful for me. Colossal. So let's say this thing is just a giant. It's technically worth 0 there. Why would I want to make that? Well, you probably don't. Let's see. Let's do... yeah, cool. Let's have Rebirth. So we want Rebirth. So we need, with Rebirth, we have a trigger effect. Let's have, okay, hey everyone, let's have a death rattle effect. Death rattle rebirth. Cool. Here's my death rattle rebirth. Anytime it dies, it just gets back up. Let's do prowess. Prowess. Let's do prowess. Prowess is 10. And let's do... So, what can we make worth 8? What can I make worth 8? So we want to, so if we want to have something go there, we want to have that for 8. And we look at, we want to have, where was it? Rebirth, and we want to trigger at, oh, okay, overload. Overload 1. So, so we have we want to have we want to have overload 1. Saw it, where'd it go? Where is it? Trigger. Ah, exhaust. We want to do overload 1 exhaust for 7. There we go. Boom. Anytime this thing dies, it gets back up. Anytime we use soul cards on it, guess what? It gets stronger. If we manage to overload it 1, we exhaust an enemy card. What does overloading mean? We just put on another, so if we put on a soul card, not only does it get stronger, but exhausts one of you, because it's a zombie harbinger. That's all that it does. Dumbass cat, there's your 7-drop. Yeah, so this is what a zombie harbinger would be. It is a 7-drop card. It's an annoying as fuck card. The problem with it is that it's soulless, is that you can't sacrifice it for anything else. So if you want to bring out a 10-drop and you're like, okay, I'm going to sacrifice a zombie harbinger, you can't. Because that's kind of the idea with black, is that black summons its big ones, but once those big ones are out, once it loses all its big monsters, it doesn't really have anything else to work with. But with this guy, he just doesn't die. However, the catch is, all Rebirth does is bring it back to your hand. So you can bring it back. The zombie harbinger comes back to your hand, but you still gotta summon it again, which does require you to sacrifice something that does have it. So that's kind of the downside. Is like once it does die, it's not doing anything. But you always get it back. Hence why, if you want to bring out a big zombie deck or something like this, if you want to make your deck a big zombie deck, you play, have a bunch of big monsters that you are just not losing the card effectively. But remember, Rebirth does not mean you have to bring back the zombie harbinger, just any monster in your graveyard. So you lose the zombie harbinger, then you draw a card you lost a little while, and then you look through your graveyard and pick up a card you grabbed a little while ago. Or, hey, you pick up a card with the Summoner attribute, including the one you use to sacrifice to bring the Zombie Harbinger back. There's a little bit of setup. You can do a little bit of synchro summoning, one might even call it. The only problem is, the Zombie Harbinger is a giant, so it requires 2 spaces. Doesn't seem like a lot, and you get nothing out of it, but it's thematic, because it's a giant zombie. Again, it's part of me wants to have, like, hey, this is, like, it doesn't do much for you. This is just a 0 drop. On the other hand, you kind of get, like, cool boy points. I might make it, like, a -1, so you can work around it, but yeah, okay. You can still kill it. It's only got 6,000 attack. That's the thing, and 10,000 defense. It's a 7 drop that versus a red can technically, mind you, a red, if this was red, it would be able to get it at pretty much half the cost. Be able to get this same amount and just one shot, just one tap it. So it's like, okay, well, you gotta burn it. You gotta, like, you have to take care of your Harbinger, effectively. Okay. That works. This works. Here, this would be... If, we want to do a counter, so we want to do that. I mean, if we can actually add, you monster. Let's see. We want to do add poison counter to target. Add poison. Add a poison counter. I don't want to do that. That's not how it works. Add a poison counter to the target when they reach 5 counters. So we have a trigger target. So this wouldn't be give out target ally counter. And so if you have indestructible, which is normally impossible for you to give to someone, say, hey, I've got an indestructible counter, I want to give that to somebody else. I guess it would be like a let's see, as long as this counter is requires a trigger. Requires a trigger. Yes, this does deal with it. Poison. We're looking at poison. Red. Would red work with that? Red wood, but it's expensive. Black wood, because it's cheap. White would never work with that because holy. Then we have purple, who is and then we have ego. Ego would, but ego would make it expensive. I want to kill you myself. I don't want to worry about that. Add a buff counter as long as this monster has a buff counter on it. You're expensive. Actually, who wouldn't want to buff their own people? Yellow wouldn't. Yellow would never want to buff itself. Purple wouldn't want to buff itself either. Green does that. Red would do it pretty cheap. Red would do it cheap. Black would do it a little bit more expensive. White is also very cheap because white would want to buff its own soldiers up. Holy wants to keep its own people alive. So give target ally. Card gives ally a Yes, this would be no. Okay. The likelihood of it coming up isn't entirely likely, but it is still powerful if you build your deck around that idea. Infinite counter. Oh, manly co-host. Yeah, sorry. I am literally locked the fuck in right now. Hello, Kim. I am literally locked the fuck in. I am ready. This is what happens. Like this cool grandpa. This is what happens. I'm locked in. Target of effect. let's see, this extremely... This is an extremely particular one that I'm literally going to do one across the board for. Let's see. Apply a second. Base cost plus 1. We go over here. Base cost plus 2. Actually, no, it would be base cost plus 1. Base cost plus 3 works. Base cost plus 1. Base cost plus 2. Base cost plus 1. Base cost plus 3. We do this. We add in all of this. Do this. Oh. So we do base cost plus 3, base cost plus 4. We're going to increase it all by 2. 3, 5, 5. There we go. So I want to do give target ally. Now I want to write out an ability. So I want to give an ally an indestructible token. Okay, I want to give an ally an indestructible token. So I would do, first things first, give target ally indestructible. Give target ally indestructible. Okay, that's easy enough. We go to indestructible. Okay, so give target ally indestructible counter. But that would mean we need to... This would increase the cost by a little bit. So it would be durability. Give an ally an indestructible token. Give target ally indestructible, but you would need to have durability. How do we make durability? I want to do support durability. I want to give a target ally target ally, so I guess it would be tribute. Tribute. So this would be tribute. Give target ally indestructible counter. So with this setup, with this basic concept of a setup, it would be, I have my card out, I tap my card, I get an indestructible token. Next round, I have an indestructible token on my monster. So what happens then is I tribute, otherwise known as I sacrifice another monster, and I can give that indestructible counter to another person. Okay. So statement needs... I'm gonna have to put in like a little exception rule there. I guess with a statement, you would also need an activation trigger. So because this needs a... We would need to put in a trigger target. The trigger targets here. We put in the trigger targets. We don't need any of these. So this would be a trigger target. This needs to be a trigger target. These two do not need to be trigger targets. Because this is a statement. Statements modify the basic x equals y. Okay. So a trigger statement, so... If I do support durability, what this is effectively saying is when rested, gain indestructible token. Gain indestructible token. Give target ally. Actually, give target ally indestructible token, indestructible counter. And it would be from durability because that's what's there. And because that's where it comes from, we would use that cost. If you have both an indestructible keyword and you have an indestructible creation, it would be more expensive, takes priority. So it would be your durability. So it would be durability rather than basic indestructible. Okay. I guess we could add in the keyword take. I don't know how to word that. But what statement are we working for here? Fuck. Okay. So, if we are looking at the concept of our people anyway, this is our, if we're looking at, these are our leader cards. We can use a vast majority of these. Like, these don't change. The only ones that we would really need to add by, look over here, if we bring you right here. We bring you here. The keywords that we would need to add would be dormant, imprisoned, wandering. So yeah, we just need to have these three there. Luckily, we don't need that either. We wouldn't need that. So all dormant would be is not be targeted. So it cannot be targeted, and so this would be title. So this would be King, Prince, Duke, Count. Imprisoned would just be King and Prince. Wandering is only for a wanderer. That is just a way to keep you alive. So dormant, if we keep everyone dormant, I mean that's like points across the board. Well, technically we should do it the right way and call it -40. Imprisoned would be, actually no, we can do -30. We do -30. That would bring King up to 50. That would be 50 BP. That's quite a bit of BP. That would be up to about a rank 5 monster with 10 hits. 50 sounds... Or we go up to 70 points, but 70 points would effectively be... No, we do 30, and then we do... Then we do 50, -50 down here. And wandering would be... You pay 15. The target is flipped over, cannot be targeted. There we go. So a wanderer wants to kind of stretch out their economy a little bit, because stretching out their economy lets them stay hidden effectively, because as a wanderer. Okay, so looking at this, so let's say we want to make a count. I want to make a count character. I'm going to bring over all of my things here. We're going to right here. Here, yes, cool. Cool, we are going to be making count. What should we make, everyone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What should we make? What is going to be our example pretender to the throne? The throne of the Dreamlands. Who should we make? Count Chocula. Count Chocula. Count Chocula. I feel pretty confident about our boy, Count Chocula. So, because Count Chocula is here, I think he would have... There we go. We'll give him, he's white and black. The ultimate Count Chocula experience. So I mean, if we doing things like this is helpful. We want to actually, no, we Count Chocula. Count Chocula, I need you to go over here for a minute while I reorganize everything here. So... let's see. So we call this our pretender focus, which is going to be primary, secondary, and tertiary. If it's a primary thing, that means I guess we can keep with the same idea, 357. But we're going to change that. So green, it's secondary. Blue, it's primary. Actually, would be secondary. Red is primary. Black is secondary. White is primary. Purple is tertiary, while yellow is primary. I guess we can make it tertiary for that as well. Okay. So, green, 5 points to distribute. Blue, 7 points. Red, we've got 3 points. Black, secondary. Purple. Purple is... And then yellow would be... Okay. Okay, Count Chocula. We're back to the Chocula experience, everyone. So, Count Chocula. First things first. Let's see. First things first. As Count Chocula, you are... It would be... Since you're these two, which one would you use? I guess it would use the best. Or we would use white. Where'd you get that table insert there? What do you mean? I just selected everything and said, make me a table. Yep, you can convert everything to tables now. It's very nice. Okay, so... Alright, we got a fun thing. Let's see. If we want to make a pretender, or we want our pretender to do things, how do we make it so that he can choose that? Which one do we use if we have multiple? We have multiple ones. Which one do we choose? Or do we put it in for each? So unless we use the worst of the two, then blue gets blue-red suddenly gets really weak. If we do use the best of the two, blue will always be paired with something else. Because you're just getting more bang for your metaphorical buck. I mean, I guess we could do some, like, weird hybridization stuff. Alternatively, we could just give pretenders a flat amount, and that's just what they have to work with. Average between the two. Then you start getting into points. If we were to do... This is going to get awful. So let's just think. Let's just take a second. I want to grab all of you. We're going to put you below Count Chocula. And we are going to be making... I want to do what is white black? What is holy death? Okay, so I want to do what would holy death be? So black is 2-3, white is 2-1. And then so the average AVG would be 2. It would be 2-2. All right. What if? All right. What if we put blue white? We round up. What about purple, blue purple? So if we round up, it would be 5-3. So if we do yellow blue, it would be 5-2. Green blue, green red. Like the entire idea is like green black to like 3-2, so you technically go up a little bit but down a little bit. Yeah, that's not average works. What do you say? We round up or round down? Let's bring the I want to do a blue white. What do we do with 1.5 and 3.5? I say round up. Yeah, you're getting more benefits by hybridizing. All right. Okay. That does... See, the thing is, this is a 2-domain. So this is a 2-domain. So this would be... Baron count table. If we want true nightmares, and I do mean honest to God, like true fucking horror, we insert a column to the left, insert a column to the left, insert a column to the left. So this would be the wanderer table. This would be the night table. So I want to play a green, blue, red, black wanderer. 4.5, 1.5. Alright, so it'd be 2-5. But you have all access to all the green cards, all blue, with some red and some black in there. Alright, that's not too bad. Let's say I want to do a yellow, purple, white, black. Flat 2-2. And I'm mitigating some of the purple issues. Alright, what do I... Blue, red, black. 3-2. Black, white, purple. 2-2. Kind of mitigating some purple's issues. Green, purple, blue. 4-2. Okay. That works. Yeah, that works. And we just average it. So, if we're averaging it, the Barons is 2-2. Okay. So we've got, as a count, we've got 2 domains. We've got 40 BP to spend. We've got 40 BP to spend, and as a count, we can start as dormant. So you know what? We're going to start as dormant, And that's going to give us -3. So we've got 70 BP to spend. And we're going to spend it immediately on, let's see, I want to... Let's give myself 10k, so that's 20 right off the bat. What if I give myself 10k across the board? So that's 40 right off the bat. But I want to be cracked. 16,000, 12,000. So 16, that would be 32. So 32 plus 12 times 12 would be 12, 24. So that would be 32 plus 24. 32 plus 24 would be 56. Yeah, so we are at 56 right now. Okay, I think I'm going to tone down Dormant, everybody. Let's do like 20. If we do 20 and we do 30, maybe the numbers will not be as horrifying. So it would be only -20 now. Okay. All right. Okay. I want to put some more effects on him. So I want to put in... Let's see. I want to let's put a banish on him. Well, fuck it. Let's put banish on him. So our boy's got a banish. How do we banish this? Well, his banish is let's do vengeance. So vengeance banish. You know, when our boy is awake, vengeance banish. Vengeance, our best one would be 5, so it would be white. And banish, if we go all the way up here, banish is black, so that would actually be a vengeance banish would be 9 points for us. Okay, vengeance banish. Actually, I should say vengeance banish on a target. It'll just be a target. Of course, we need to have treasure. Treasure is, we can get treasure on white for 10. We need a trigger for that. So we've got a trigger, let's say. We want to do Yojimbo, and white is 5, so we can bring that up to a Yojimbo treasure. So anytime he takes damage, he just gets more soul power. Let's see. We want to do... Let's do Invigorate. Invigorate. Gamble. Let's do Gamble Invigorate. Actually, let's not do Gamble Invigorate. Tribute Invigorate, so that's 3. Where's Invigorate? I said where's Invigorate because I am a silly Billy. 10, so that's 3, 10. That's 13. Let's go back to Count Chocula real fast. So we want to do a vengeance banish target. Sorry if I'm not paying attention to you all real fast. I am just lock the fuck in. Yojimbo. Yojimbo treasure for 15. Then tribute invigorate for 13. And I'm actually overcosted. If I'm overcosted, that means I have to... If I go down to 10,000, that knocks me down to 54. And then we knock myself down to 9,000. That brings me down to 52, so we're at 69. There we go. There's probably something I could find for... Again, this should work. Alright, so, here is Count Chocula. Count Chocula is dormant for the first 5 turns. He is actually in danger. The first 5 turns, he needs to be protected. That deck should focus on protecting him, because he needs it. However, once he does get up, he wants to start sacrificing his own people. He will throw people at the problem. Anytime he takes damage, he gets more soul power. So he starts wanting to take damage a little bit. If anything, we could do... I mean, yeah, because he would be... He could be hit, so Yojimbo Treasure would actually trigger on him because he would take damage. So he could build up treasure and then... you would build up treasure to be able to spend on things. So he might be able to get a higher drop even before he gets up. Tribute Invigorate would be anytime he sacrifices anyone, he gets... he can rest of his soul card. So he's a big control deck, effectively. There you go, everyone. Count fucking Chocula. He is a fucking control deck that hits like a brick shithouse, but if you see someone bring out their Count Chocula to fight you, just rush him down, because you can just get a bunch of big guys and rush him the fuck down. Because he doesn't actually have that much defense, and he can't retaliate. The problem is, you don't want to target any of his boys, and anytime you target any of his boys, you gotta realize you're getting all your things bounced back into your hand, which might be a good thing if you have a bunch of effects that rush. You want to kill Count Chocula? You rish. Yeah, beat the absolute shit out of the guy as early as you can. Yeah, if he is put on the back foot, Count Chocula's not doing well. If you have a good lead about 4 turns in, he can't do anything. That's one of the big problems. He can't do anything. And he's got to be hoping. He can drop some big monsters ahead of time because of the Yojimbo Treasure. But he only has 7 hits. You do 3 damage to him, he's below half. He's almost below half. You manage to get 4 hits on him, he's below half, and he cannot take that much more damage, and he can't heal very well. Because he's still a white. He's still white. Actually, I guess, do we have a... Yeah, I guess he could do some lifesteal stuff, but you would want to put in a lifesteal card. You'd probably want to do, I don't have a heal card, do I? I should add a... I should add a heal. You can still deck out in this situation. Not good to be at 0 because you're just losing HP. Let's see. We want to do green can get healed pretty easily. Blue, you know what? I don't want blue to be able to heal. I don't think purple can't heal. You can heal, but it's a little bit more expensive for you to heal. Black and white are going to be healing each other pretty consistently, and red can't heal either, because red wants to go aggro. Okay. Yes, the blood domain cannot heal, it just hurts. There you go. Because the idea, you can actually, fun fact, you can kill yourself by healing in this game, I've realized. That's one thing I've realized, is that you can kill yourself with healing. Because in the One Piece card game, in the One Piece TCG, what happens when you heal is all you do is place a life card down. That's all you do. And what I have in this, and in One Piece, if you run out of decks, if you run out of your deck, you lose. You can technically heal yourself to death. Here, it's the same idea, where if you use the heal card, you have to draw from the top of your deck and put it in your life. You don't know what it is, you're just saying, okay, it's in my life now. The problem is, if you cannot draw, you lose debt, you lose health. If you heal, and you do not have the proper amount of life left, and you don't have a deck, you just take damage, because you're healing yourself with nothing. And, technically, that does mean if you want a good sustained deck with a lot of healing in it, you are probably playing black or white, and you want to, you pretty much have to have someone almost there the entire time keeping you topped up, but you're going to deck out, so you have to have this huge jack, which is going to cause you just to bleed out anyway, because you have to draw a card all the. Yeah, lifesteal is the same way. We do have lifesteal. I do remember that. We do have lifesteal. Lifesteal is right here. You know, if you damage an enemy pretender, the pretender gets +1 life. That's all. Not too big, however, it does work. Okay. I think, like, Count Chocula works. And if you want to play, like, a green deck, green, you can just play a gigantic shithead and have a fuck ton of defense. And be like, yeah, I'm literally an impossible to kill super tank. Counterpoint, though, you're an impossible to kill super tank. You can't deal any damage. I'm just gonna wait you out and burn your deck out. What are you gonna do? Oh no! I'm burning my deck away. Shit. That or you place a bunch of tokens on him. Like, there's a part of me that wants to have the, like a hard cap. Like, you can't have more than 20,000 attack or defense power as a pretender, because you still need to be able to be killed. Let's see. What would be... Like, one of the ideas is, like, black players, people who play death, their entire thing should be graveyard manipulation. They get a lot of options to grab their deck, their graveyard, and draw cards from their graveyard. And that's what they want to do, because if you're drawing cards from your graveyard, that means you're not killing yourself by, you know, relying on card draw, versus blue, which blue wants to draw cards. So they're burning their life away pretty quick. It's all hand manipulation. Which I do plan on having in the TRPG side, because remember, this was still a TRPG. In the TRPG side, one of the ideas is every character is going to have a Heart of the Cards ability, effectively. I might do it on, like, vague archetypes or something. And, like, a Heart of the Card ability would be like, oh, hey, I can just search my deck for the exact card I want. Because that's just what the Heart of the Card ability does. Oh, okay, let me check my deck for... Oh, hey, here's the exact card I need. I'm going to put that at the top of my deck, flip my deck back. Oh, wow, look, everyone, I drew the exact card I needed. Wow, who would have thought of this? Just to kind of mimic things from the show. Or, oh, hey, screw the rules, I have money, which allows you to just break rules. Like, yeah, no, sorry. I'm the monster guy. I can have 4 monsters out. Why? Because I'm just that cool. I'm more important than everyone else. Like, they're literally cheaty abilities for protagonists. Because, again, we're basing this off of the anime where they don't play the card game, right? I play Pot of Greed. Okay. And if we're doing this right, if I'm in my noggin is jogging, we can use all of this pretty much for action cards as well. Because all an action card is I want to do something. I want to do an effect. Hey, I want to invigorate. I'm going to use this card to invigorate myself. If I were to do an action card, like if we're looking at things, like an action card is worth like... If we think like an action card has cost times 5, cost times 5 BP, and a reaction card has cost times 3 BP. So that would be the amount of actual abilities that you have with those specific cards. So if I want to use an action card, so let's say I have a 3-drop action card. I want, with my 3-drop action card, to pull off a... I want to do a heal. Actually, yeah, no, I want to do a heal. And let's say I'm playing a white deck, so heal is worth 6 in the white deck. So it would be a 6. It would be a heal 6. That's it. What's the trigger activation? It is an action card, so I get heal 6. Actually, we can do like heal 2, so it would be worth 12. 3 times 5 is 15, so 15. It would be worth 12 BP, which is out of our 15 BP. Which we can do. We can just heal 2 for a 3-drop, but we have to play it white, which means we get 2 life back for 1 card, but that's worth 3 of our soul that we could be using for something else. We're spending soul to not do much. Another action would be like give someone taunt. All that is what we're really doing is we have a card, let's say Protector's Grace. Cool, Protector's Grace, and let's say this is a 2-drop. So we have 10 BP. So we look at this. I want to give a target ally. Let's say we're playing a blue deck. I want to give a target ally taunt. So we look at let's say we're playing a green deck. I want to give a target ally taunt. I look at here, give target ally. So it is worth 4. We go down here at 3. So I say, hey, Protector's Grace, which is give target ally. Give target ally taunt. Give target ally taunt. And this would be a total of 7 BP. 7 BP out of 10 BP available to us. Action cards shouldn't feel that great, but they're just a, hey, here's an ability that I have to do things. And I could use this. Sometimes they're going to be a little bit cheaper and you don't have to play it as a monster. A monster that can get destroyed and I can only have 3 out at any time. Which should be one of those big problems, is you can only have 3 monsters out on the field at any time. So if you have 2 big guys out, yeah, heal 2 for effectively during my main phase, that's pretty good. Reactions just mean you have less BP to work with, so hey, here's a reaction to banish your monster. Hey, yeah, I'm gonna banish your monster, and it's blue, so hey, it's only 6, so I can technically banish a target monster for 6. It's a 2-point reaction. I can say, no, go back to your hand. Blue's easy. Black, it's even easier, because black can do it for 2 as well, but it's not as efficient, maybe. But hey, what's better? Putting banish on a trigger on a monster can do a lot more consistently, or putting banish on an action card. There you go. That works. I would probably need to, when we're writing things out here, I would need to reiterate this chart. I would need to make this chart different. Effectively, I would copy and paste this chart right here and change some of the values around for the idea of it being an action card versus a defense and a reaction card. Some things would be lower cost, some things just like, yeah, you don't get this. Okay. All right, that works. All right. So, since we have successfully now, after 3.5 hours, made our ability to make fucking card games, now let's work on the TRPG aspect. Delicious. I love... you still going? Hell yeah. Yeah, we just finished part 1. Like, you gotta remember that. All these numbers, all these thought experiments, all of these pretenders and shit, all of this. This is phase 1. We haven't even hit phase 2 yet. Welcome to phase 2, motherfuckers. Motorcycles. But the big thing here is you're going to be able to make your own deck master, and what I was like, like, what would a starter, like, what's a starter deck look like? If we want to keep things light, we need to figure out what a starter deck is. And all a starter deck is your starting lineup of cards. It's like your starting lineup that you have. And then we have deck master is... Okay, so we know how to make a deck master. That's easy. And we know how we can improve the deck master, because all improving the deck master is. So if we want to do improving deck master, improving the pretender is pretty much being able to make new pretenders. That's kind of the idea. It is me saying, hey, well, I have Count Chocula. Count Chocula is my character. I am playing my pretender that I am with is Count Chocula. Later on, I invest, I'm like, oh, hey, you have the opportunity now to make a new Count Chocula. And I can now make this Count Chocula different. He can be a wander, and he can have a bunch of different effects that I can change things around, so I can now adapt to different things going on. Easy enough to understand. And then, so we need to figure out how to make their starting deck. And then we need to figure out how to improve that deck. And like, booster packs. Unless we say, like, you can have... You start with, like, 6 cards. You start with, like, no, let's say you start with 6 cards. Every time you improve, you can crack a pack and make more. Until you have a full set. But you can only bring X amount of cards in with you at any time. That would be like, that'd be kind of in this, like, heart of the cards idea. Like, a heart of the cards thing, like, the initial one that I thought of is, like, again, just pure heart of the cards. Which is, which is a search deck. Like, my examples that I had, that in my head anyway, is like heart of the cards. All of this is search deck. That is the option that a character has. Is like, what is your gimmick? What is your duelist gimmick in this world? Yeah, I can just search my deck, with the idea being that it's not my character searching the deck. It's my character being able to top deck anything he needs because he's that idiot. But then you have like, oh, the collector. What's the collector? He instead gets 50, he gets, plus 10 BP on all his monsters. Yeah, the collector has rare cards, and rare cards are always strong, right? Like, Kaiba is a collector. He has the best cards in the game because that's what he does. That's his gimmick. Yeah, his, all his really good, like, monster cards and stuff are good. Like, that's why I'm thinking, like, more archetype-based. Like, kind of influencing your initial abilities, maybe initial stats. Because your duelist, that's the idea, it is the pretender and the duelist. I don't have a good name for him yet. It is just a duelist. And, if you improve your attender, that means you're getting new ones, and that's, being able to crack a pack kind of thing. Which, there comes a point where this might have to come up of like, yeah, you're getting a randomized, thing. What does that look like? I don't know. It could literally mean you just make bullshit, like, here, you get 15 BP, build a card. You have to build a card with that restriction, or you have to build a card with this restriction. I don't know how I want to do, like, a randomized deck thing. As for, let's see, motorcycles and on-battle effects, like, the basic system-wise, like, if I'm looking at this from a very analytical point of view, I want to make, like, the base system. It is either going to be D10 or D6 based. Why? Because those are very easy. And a chunk of me wants to do, like, a set TN system. Kind of like what we went over this week, actually, which was the cop game, like Crime Fighter, which is like a set TM versus, like, verse 9 or something. Yeah, that kind of system where it's like, oh, everything around you is just building toward of, can you beat this number? Set TN has its advantages. I mean, we could use, like, an already established system. System is not the worst idea in the world, but overall, the main premise is I want this to be relatively simple. Like, I don't want the base core system to interfere with things going on. However, one of the things is, let me So, no, so, to give you an idea, shit like this should be something to have, like, something is going on. And it's like, oh, okay, what did we do? This is, player character needs to make a choice. You're in motorcycles doing something crazy. What do? I want to do something, and we got to learn how to drive. We got to make an evasion check to get out of the way. I got to make an agility or whatever. Then you have, like, I'm gonna do it, a Joey. Not Joey, Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah. His name's not Joey, but his name's Joey to me. Yeah, again, this is, player characters are doing things. What does Joey do? What does Joey Wheeler do? Joey Wheeler throws himself off a fucking boat. What? That's what's going to happen. Like, I'll just build an online card generator. Lamau, World of Darkness. Honestly, something like that, because it's like, I need something that is like honestly, like a dice pool, like, Not a bad idea. This dice pool with a set of variable TN that has some leeway there. I think we can make something work out of it. What? I don't know. Ugh, okay. We're already using a D10 over. I just look like, oh, okay, let's look at the TRPG and just look over at the fucking nightmare over here. I'm never letting him commission me ever again. I want you to know that. I will reject his money because the next one's gonna need me to make like 9 million fucking footnotes. Sorry, everyone. I need you to custom build a car, you know, to get my authentic experience. You psychopath. Why do you do this to me? I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent man. It's streaming for 4 hours. Like... See, cursed idea would be we do, and this would literally be exclusively to gaslight the commissioner, which would be a tri-stat derivative, because that would be really funny, and in solely an effort to gaslight the commissioner. This is a TRPG based on a fake anime where they play a card game run, but we have to build a card game for the idea of the TRPG. I'm gonna look at it here. Finally, my longest detox yet. 30 minutes of me being dead silent, followed by sobbing noises. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's think. Just do that. I mean, we could do 2d10 versus 11's the first thing that comes to mind, because a raw roll would be roughly 50-50. Bonuses and problems would be that. I guess alternatively it would be 2d6 versus 9. A little bit more difficult, but that's more Barbarians of Lemuria-esque. Because that is just Barbarians of Lemuria's system, because I love fucking Barbarians of Lemuria. truly a game I do enjoy quite a bit, and I think the world needs to know more about Barbarians of Lemuria, because we're Lemuria maxing. 2d10 verse 12, 2d10 verse 12, 2d6 verse 9. This is just a set TN system. I think I'm gonna have to ambush the commissioner, I think, on this one. Dice pool versus it. If there is a dice pool, I'm not even, oh god. Like, if there is going to be a dice pool, I'm thinking like 5 dice max. Like, not many. Like, why don't I want a lot of dice? Because I don't want to be like, I have a dice pool of 35 dice or whatever. No, like, it's like 5, maybe like 7, 6, maybe like 7 dice max. That's kind of like the upper limit of the amount of dice that you can be rolling. Kind of also depends on if it's D6 or D10, because those do influence how you would want to do that. D6 has a lower range, however, D6s are also a lot more plentiful, a lot easier to read versus a D10. Luckily, if I were to just be adding like a base, like, it would probably be like basic attributes plus probably like simple skills. Like, skill wise, actually would probably be like more like background skills, because in Barbarians of Lemuria, because I love that fucking game, I didn't think about that game for a while now, is you effectively write in what your career was, but each of the careers do have some flavor to them. So that's one thing to kind of work with. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. It's 11:15. $76 max, 5d10 max. Yeah, exactly. You're seeing that. I've been streaming for a while. I think my brain is officially turned to potatoes. Next week we will start formally, if all things go according to plan, and pinged by someone. Oh, hello, Tower Girls. I am going to call it here. I might solve the crisis tomorrow. I might on Sunday. I don't know. I will probably be updating things then. One thing as well, it is tomorrow we are going to be playing video games, because I like to play video games. We're going to be playing Inscription, actually. Because Inscription seems like an interesting game. Are we going to beat it in one go? Probably not. But hell, that's it. So I'm going to call it there. Visual novel, that works too. No visual novel day. We can't do that because we're going to get sued. Alright. Let me get out of here. Godspeed. Good luck. You know the rest. I am, as they say, away. Snoot Game Stream Lamau. Oh god. Oh god.